This is an account of a rowing trip from Campbell River to Telegraph Cove along the channels between Vancouver Island and the mainland. Traveling by rowboat, I gained a different perspective both on the land and myself. The passages, sometimes narrow with names like Hole in the Wall, sometimes several miles wide, are both remote and beautiful, but never free from the evidence of human activity. In the south, there were sport fishermen and vacation cabins. As I moved north, there were fewer people, but I was never out of sight of clear cuts, and a salmon farm was always just around the corner. The abundant rainfall and mild climate allows the forest to recover, with new growth sprouting directly from old stumps, but I never saw a living tree close to the size of the giant 8-foot diameter cedar stumps left from cutting the old-growth forest. The salmon farms are taking their toll on wild fish populations by creating pollution and spreading disease. Most of the areas was wonderfully prolific with kelp forests, tide pool creatures, and barnacles covering every rock. There was even a post office tended by a wonderful artist living her dream on her own island. Life in the forest and the ocean is abundant, with interesting plants and creatures. Rowing is a bit like life in that the rower is always looking at what was gone by, and only glimpsing what is ahead by occasionally turning his head. The completeness of his view depending on how limber his neck is. Time is always passing us by, disappearing as an eddy in our wake. The metronome of oars clicking in their oarlocks becomes a meditation on impermanence, and in the end I can come to accept even the clear cuts as part of the perfection. In Johnston Strait there were orcas and humpbacks, and when the wind died at night I could lie in my tent and hear them breathe, the archetypal sound of the breath of the Great Mother. Eagles and gulls nervously traded positions to catch supper in a school of feeding salmon. The eagles were after the larger fish, and the gulls picked off the little minnows. And all of this takes place in a busy channel. It seems amazing to me, with the noise of shipping, the whales and porpoises can still hunt and navigate. So one more night on a beautiful shell beach, composed of broken clamshells washed up from flats. Then back to my task. On the 11th day, I rowed into Telegraph Cove, a tiny fishing community, and the terminus of a 1912 telegraph line from Campbell River. The main draw today is sea kayaking, and I had to squeeze between several groups getting ready to go out. Carol said I was 5 minutes late, but on board my boat, time had slowed, so I figured I was ahead of schedule.